Trick or treat.
Smell my feet. Hi, welcome to Yael and Matt Recap Stuff. It's another midnight edition recorded
It's
late at night.
11:25.
Yeah, we watched movies during the day this
Watched
time,
two.
and we just waited all day to do the recap. You're not getting 2 movies today, but this is 2 recording sessions.
Yeah.
The first movie we watched is the 7th movie in the Child's Play series, Cult of Chucky. It was written and directed by the person that wrote the first one. He came back and did a couple more of the films. I don't want to look at IMDb right now. I don't remember his name, but good job overall, solid film.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Like us on YouTube, Facebook, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yeah. So this starts off with the last one. It ended kind of.
Yeah, we just watched the last one like a couple of months ago, maybe more, a little more.
Yeah, the last one was
Recently.
Curse of Chucky.
Yeah. So we just watched it, not because of Halloween or something, but
Just to watch it.
yes, I'm glad that we did it before we watched this one.
Yeah, so.
The last one was better, I think.
Nah, I like this one better than,
No, I like
than
the
that
other
one. This one, there's way more stuff that happened.
No,
The
the
last
other
one
one
was just
was
a
more scary, like frightened moments.
I don't know. It was just
Right.
the last one felt like more of a Halloween episode of a TV show that Chucky just happened to be in.
I don't know, it was like scarier, like, you know, like dark and big house and he appears from nowhere.
I don't know. I feel like if you're
This
watching
one
it,
was kind of like,
there's been 7 Child's Play movies. They're not really scary. Maybe there's moments
no,
where
they do.
you jump, but they're
In this one, it didn't.
they're fun horror movies. I think this one was smart and silly in some ways,
Yeah.
and it got a little bit convoluted if you go by the I guess how would you say it, the canon of movies, because the first Child's Play movie is a serial killer, and he's being chased by the cops. He's in a toy store. He's shot. He's dying. Charles Lee Ray. There's a Good Guys, which is kind of a My Buddy doll, and he experiments with some voodoo shit. So he puts his hand on the Good Guys doll head. Give me the power, I beg of you. And his soul goes into the body of it.
You look like a guy that would know what to say.
Sometimes it comes natural
You
to
have,
some
like,
people, like a
yeah.
sociopathic look. So
if you're listening to us, you should just like Google Matt Kona to see his
yeah, and
very long beard.
so this movie, I mean, it's kind of played out in a lot of the movies where he has to transfer his body into the doll, or if he's the doll, he can transfer it to someone else to keep surviving. But in this one,
He succeed. It's the only one that he succeed.
no, because in this one he doesn't really transfer his body. They wrap it up, explain it in a very Adam West Batman type thing, that he read a book called Voodoo for Dummies, and he could just do something to a doll and turn it into an extension of her personality. So essentially, he's a Xerox machine instead of a transfer device, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't.
He's not good in.
He stays in the
computers.
same body, but can put himself into another one and have it existing separately, but still talk like Chucky.
Yeah, so there were like few dolls in the same time, which made
And
made it fun.
We're jumping way ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened?
It starts off with someone we haven't seen in a while, and that's Andy, the grown-up version of the little kid that first got the possessed doll from the first one. He's on a date. It doesn't go well because his date Googles him and asks him why he's such a gun nut. Because if you have childhood trauma, you become a gun nut, I guess. He just wants to defend himself because Chucky killed his babysitter, his social worker, his 37 people, I guess. So I'm not going to go back and watch the 6 movies and get a murder count, but he says 37 people
We believe him.
that we know of. And so the date pieces out. He returns to his log cabin / gun cabinet. It's got a lot of guns. And behind a secret door.
Oh no, he opened the beer when he was walking to that secret door. And it's not the secret door, it was like a picture that he took off the wall and it was, how do you say, kasefet? Like,
Yeah,
it's money.
it's a hidden door to a vault. Yes.
Vault. Yeah, so he opened the beer and threw the cap on the floor, which I thought it's weird. I don't do that. Who does that? Like to go at your house, open a beer and just throw it on the floor.
I don't know. Someone that is
That
lives in a cabin with guns alone.
And his doll killed 37 people.
So he opens up this safe and there's a decapitated, partially melted, scarred up Chucky head. Now I feel like there's one Child's Play movie I didn't see, and that's Seed of Chucky. So maybe something happened, and Andy ended up with the chopped off head of Chucky. But at the end of Curse of Chucky, he's the doll. He's fine. He drives off with Jennifer Tilly, his girlfriend, who Miss Valentine.
What year the movie came out? The first one came out?
1988.
88, alright.
And so this one starts out, the doll head is talking to Andy, and Andy is smoking pot with it. He gives it a hit, and then he tries to bite him or scare him. So he blowtorches him in the face, and then the opening credits is kind of a montage of the last movie. Kind of sums up in the last movie. All this stuff happened in this girl Nika's house.
Nika is the daughter, like in real life. She's the daughter of the guy that does Chucky's voice.
Yeah, Brad Dourif, the voice, his daughter Fiona Dourif.
Yeah.
And so she's in a
I wonder
wheelchair.
how she got that role.
Yeah, so she's in a wheelchair. Her family is all killed by Chucky except for her niece, and then the blame is on them because the police didn't believe her that the doll did it. So she's in a mental institution. When we end the credits, doing shock therapy on her, they transfer her over to a medium security facility, which is very creepy.
Yeah, I like that. I loved the characters. Like the mental people characters.
Yeah, they're the fellow patients that live there.
Yeah.
So she meets Carlo, the orderly, who is kind of a dick but kind of friendly. Gives her a pack of gum, and when he leaves, and then when she's in the.
By the way, the movie is gay friendly. When he leaves the room, he tells her, "Yeah, my husband is also in a wheelchair."
Yeah.
Which was kind of a weird comment because he said about himself, "I'm not gonna be your friend," and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gay."
Yeah.
So it was a weird comment. But.
So it leaves her a pack of gum. She goes to the common room for the first time, and a girl claims to be a ghost.
That was cool. I like that.
Yeah, but she's not a ghost.
She's
just
going
a crazy
there
person.
"Can you see me?"
And then she meets Michael, who blows up the ghost spot, saying everyone can see her. And then pretty soon, they're
having sex.
They have sex.
What was that?
Just natural chemistry, I guess.
It was a very weird moment.
Yeah,
We're talking, boom, sex, then nothing about it. They didn't mention anything of that.
Well, we never see Michael again because he was a multiple personality of the guy Malcolm. So Michael was one of the personalities.
So Michael
all of his other personalities are kind of nerdy. But the best part about it is that they're having sex in a stairwell. So nothing suspicious about bringing a girl in a wheelchair into a stairwell. And that's where they had it.
What is a stairwell?
It's where the stairs are. To enter, instead of taking the elevator, you would use the stairwell.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's just the stairs. In a room with just stairs. Okay. And
חדר מדרגות.
Yes, exactly. And they go to group therapy. There's Asian girl named Angela who's very angry and wants to know why she killed all those people. The therapist brings in a good guy's doll that he bought from Hot Topic, and Madeline, a girl, says, "It's my baby," and is allowed to keep it.
She runs to keep it, and I thought she was gonna be the first girl that's gonna die.
Yeah.
But no.
And then we find out that Michael is actually Mark, although Madeline then says his name is actually Malcolm. They call him Multiple Malcolm. He gets upset about that, and then
that's the moment that Nika is looking at him, and I felt in her head it's probably like, I had sex with this guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have sex with someone you just get to know, you get to know things more about them.
Yeah, you might be crazy. We're all crazy sometimes.
Yeah, happens to the best of us. So, then the ghost girl...
I'm the best of us.
Yeah, the ghost girl says that she got a message from Chucky, and that he's going to pay her a visit, and he's coming to get her. Then, boom, next day, Nika gets a visit.
She asked him to prove that Chucky is just a doll. And I was like, no, you prove that doll is a serial killer. So it's more interesting.
That didn't happen for a while.
What? No, that was right in the beginning when he just brought her. He brought the doll. Oh no, it was with the second doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
That's much later.
I'm sorry.
So...
It's not much later.
It's whatever.
You got the second doll.
Gets the
next scene.
Not the next scene. We're way...
No, he got the second doll in the next scene.
Yeah, so Ms. Valentine, Nika's niece Alice's legal guardian, comes to visit her, and it's Jennifer Tilly, and they do a funny joke. You look just like Jennifer Tilly. I get that a lot. So she brings a good guy doll that they used in analysis therapy that she thinks that Nika wants to have because... Oh, by the way, Alice is dead. Doesn't say how she died, just says that she died.
And she's kind of weird about it. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and at this point we don't know if she's just making that up, if she was actually Alice's legal guardian at all. But we learn later, yeah, apparently that happens. That must have been a weird... I don't know how you just become a legal guardian of someone that was just in this massive... horrific time. I don't know. Being a legal guardian, I feel like it's a long process that Ms. Valentine wouldn't be that qualified for. But it's a movie.
With a lot of money, you can do whatever you want.
You don't have to know what happens.
Movies, yeah.
So that's just a loose end that they mention. So the doll is there. Now there's a Chucky doll in this facility, a second one, because the therapist bought one from Hot Topic.
Yeah, I felt like the therapist said something with Chucky. I thought in the beginning that he's helping them somehow, but apparently no. But he kept bringing that doll, not in a fun way, not in okay, let's try to work on your fears. It was does it make you feel uncomfortable? And it felt kind of weird.
Well, I mean, I guess he was trying to make her confront her fears of it. So.
Yeah, but he didn't talk about her fears. It just brought it to the...
Well, Madeline kind of took things over, and it just became a weird shouting match. But basically, just the point of it was to introduce the doll. That's how the doll gets in there. And then you have a second doll. So you theoretically think that's the real doll. Not the real doll that you can buy online for $400 and make love to. But...
Is it $400?
Well, used. No, I don't know. It's probably much more than that.
What? Sex doll?
Yeah. Real dolls they've been around for a while. I don't think they're $400, but...
Of Chucky?
No. But you can get some weird ones. You can get an elderly version of a real doll. Or,
oh my god. Wait, is it seriously $400?
No, I think it's probably much more than that.
More than that?
Yeah, it's probably $1,000.
Oh, what?
What?
I thought
okay,
it's
this
a
is
cheap
an
thing.
unnecessary... No,
I'm curious.
An actual blow-up doll is probably $20, but a real doll is 150 pounds, and it's called a real doll because... All right, we're learning. We got the Trump real doll, OJ
We're learning
trial.
every day.
Yeah. We're not really learning because we're not talking about it.
We're learning about Trump.
You
and
wanted
sex
this to be
dolls.
half an hour, so.
Okay, yeah.
So the good guy's
They
doll
wanted it to be.
stays in the therapist's office. After lights out, he takes a scalpel. Chucky walks down the hallway, talks to the ghost girl, has a weird, funny interaction with her, and she directs him to Nika's room, and then she's so annoying, Chucky says,
It was a very
you're
fun-
next.
No, it was a very funny conversation because she was like, she introduced herself to him like she did to Nika, like, hey, can you see me? And he was like, yes. And then she's like, don't be afraid, I'm not gonna hurt you. And he was like, what? And then it just told her, like, you're talking to a kid's doll with a sculpture in his hand.
Sculpture?
How do you say
Scalpel.
Scalper?
Scalpel.
Scalpel.
Yeah.
With a scalpel, with a scalpel in his hand, and you're telling me not to be afraid of you.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes. She's like, okay, you're not gonna be next.
Yeah, so Chucky goes down the hallway and sees that Nika has slit her wrist. So he's going to kill her, and she's already got to step up on him. But she's still breathing, blood is still dripping, she isn't completely bled out yet. So she wakes up the next morning with stitches in her arm, and the pool of blood that was dripping from it is written, "Not so fast." So she is freaked out because of that. Carlos comes in, she throws the pillow over the blood to hide it, and then there's an alarm going off because further down the hall, the ghost girl has killed herself. In the same way, with the same thing that Nika used, which was a broken piece of her wheelchair spoke as a scalpel. And then in the blood it says Chucky did it. So now Nika is super freaked out. She knows that the doll is alive. Somehow it got back in there. And
no one believes her,
yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. No one believed her before, and she's... Then they're blaming her for her death. The angry Asian girl, Angie, is blaming her for the death. Is it Angie?
Yeah, I don't know.
Angela, I don't know.
I don't like psychologists, like the therapist, the guy that is in charge and everything. He's kind of a weirdo, and he make the patients believe that they're crazy.
Yeah.
I have problems with that part of psychiatrists. I like that.
So it briefly cuts back to Andy's house. He's watching a YouTube video of himself trying to convince his therapist, or Nika's therapist, that he could talk to her by bringing in the Chucky head and stabbing it or shooting it with a gun in front of him, and it doesn't work out. Chucky gives him shit about it, and then we're in group therapy, and then...
I like the relationship that Chucky's head and Andy has, because it's like, he hates him obviously, but they're like kind of like, he hates him, but he kind of agreed to the fact that he's in his life, and they're also like good friends.
Yeah, I don't know
like they're
good
like
friends.
Yeah, because they're like laughing at each other, and he gives him like to smoke from his
Andy's
cigarette.
not laughing, he's just...
Yeah, he's annoying, but it's like he's still like...
Yeah,
He can shut his mouth if he wants to.
Yeah. So, that, they're in group therapy, and that's when he says, prove it's just a doll. So the therapist takes a Zippo and melts the fingers of one of the dolls. And then she wants to see him do it with the other doll, but Madeline won't allow it, so she runs out of the room with the doll. Multiple Malcolm suggests they get rid of it, and Madeline goes for a walk.
I have a question. There was a nurse in the mental hospital, and she was super hot with like a very short dress and a hat. And I've never seen in my entire life like a nurse that looked like that. Is it real? Like in America? Is it a thing?
In movies...
It looked like a slutty Halloween nurse costume. But I was wondering if there are hospitals or places that nurses are actually wear those things. You've never seen that?
Never been in a mental institute.
No, but like even in a hospital. They wear those.
So
like,
the orderly
clothes.
takes Madeline down, and he's watching her from the... Madeline is outside with the doll. Chucky whispers in her ear, and she throws him in Angie's recent grave. And Malcolm comes outside to talk to her, and she pushes him in the grave. Nika's watching all of this from outside, so she's kind of freaking out. Meanwhile, Angela tries to throw out the Chucky from therapy, and it bites her on the arm, and so they stop her. The doctor and the orderly stop her, and they immediately strap her down and give her electrotherapy.
Yeah, but they gave it. That's something that I wrote to myself. So I have a thing with like I don't mind to see like sew or like blood or cuts and stuff, but the blood that how do you call it like what and the area that the doctor would take blood from you, and a syringe on it, I can't watch it. I have no idea why, but I can't even think about it. So they gave her a shot before.
Yeah.
They inject something.
The shot basically just paralyzes her body. She's awake after that. And then...
But she cannot move, and also she's like tied to the bed.
And Chucky just bit her, so you know that he's still on the loose. But Madeline is outside with a presumably non-alive Chucky doll. But she still wanted to test it and burn the fingers of it anyway. And the
What?
doll gets lifted out. The doll that she wanted to test.
Oh, okay.
And so at this point we've all presumed is not alive. So it gets lifted out of the grave by Malcolm. And then Malcolm comes out of the grave, but he gives Nika a look, like a knowing look. So at this point you're starting to think he somehow got possessed by Chucky. Goes back into a person. And then Chucky the doll goes to visit Angela while all the orderlies have left. And he bounces a steel thing of compressed oxygen on the ground, which goes up and shatters the skylight above Angela.
Which is similar scene happened in Chucky's Bride of Chucky.
Really?
Yeah, but with a champagne bottle.
I haven't seen that for a
Yeah,
while.
me neither, but we saw it on IMDb after.
But the skylight comes down, chops her head clean off, and...
I know that, like, I'm not sure if it's like a fact, but I heard that when a head chopped off, it's still like the body and the head are still moving for 3 seconds. Which is a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't move.
No, her body couldn't move.
Yeah, it was paralyzed, that's why.
Yeah, and then we come back to Andy, and he takes a short-haired good guy's doll that he has out of storage and puts it in a box. And then Nika in therapy is telling Dr. Foley her theory of multiple living Chuckies. So he hypnotizes her, he injects her, puts some lights on, drinking some booze while he does it, tells her there's hidden cameras everywhere, and there could be evidence of Nika killing the 2 girls, but someone took the tape, so who must it be? Nika. Then he kisses her, and Chucky comes in and breaks a bottle over his head.
While she's hypnotized, she's telling him, Chucky is behind you.
Yeah.
But he doesn't believe her.
Yeah. So, Chucky hands her a big piece of glass to join the club and kill this creepy guy that has presumably been drugging and kissing and doing who knows what else for a while. And then we kind of cut away, and then the next thing we know, Angela is having a dream. Alice is in it. She says, "We've been waiting here for you." She imagines being on the table when the glass came down. She wakes up in group therapy, thinking that Dr. Foley has died. I don't know. Then Dr. Foley comes in, complaining about how he was assaulted by her. Madeline takes Chucky away to be put down to breastfeed. And so she does that and puts him to bed, and she's got a little bit of blood.
Like in the movie The Witch.
Yes, exactly like the movie The Witch, but without...
But no Raven.
Yeah, and And because she is so obsessed with having the doll, we think that she's in the mental institute because she killed her own kid before. So she puts a pillow over Chucky. He's moving, and then he's not moving. But we don't really think he's dead. And if he's dead,
a doll.
There's another one anyway.
Yeah.
And so then they all come in. The doctor, Malcolm, who has now introduced himself as Charles. So you kind of know that he was possessed by Charles Lee Ray. And he says it's been a long time. Chucky's still alive. So they suggest the therapist suggests they bury the past, the doll, and they bring the doll outside. They dig a little grave, with a very creepy wooden stick made cross above it. And then Andy arrives on a snowy night to try to get in there to talk to the guards, or the doctor, but the guards say it's after visiting hours, so he can't go in, so he says, well, I'm going to commit myself by punching the guard. So instead of being arrested and brought to jail, they put him in a padded cell inside the mental hospital. Nika is outside looking at the ground. Buried Chucky emerges, and while she's watching this, other Chucky stabs her in the neck with a needle full of drugs. And then the short-haired Chucky package arrives to the doctor. He opens it up. It's like, why is someone sending me a good guy's doll? This is just a wacky coincidence. Madeline is on suicide watch after just having suffocated her baby doll. Buried Chucky hides behind the door in her room, puts his fist in her mouth, which she accepts. And then...
Yeah, she asked him, is it gonna hurt? He said, no.
And then you see it go deeper and deeper.
It was kind of a creepy, like, it started like very sexually. It started to touch her lips, and then put his like whole fist in her mouth.
Yeah.
And went down and down and deeper, and then it just like grabbed some stuff from her stomach or something.
I think it was her... It looked like pieces of spine, but I think it was just her throat, the inside of her throat, because
it was disgusting.
It was gelatinous, and so the nurse goes in and sees the hand sticking out the other way, and that hand ripped off the Chucky doll sitting in the corner. The doctor tells Carlo to get rid of it, and he puts it in the garbage chute. Doctor arrives in the office. And who's sitting in the office with a straitjacket on her?
How do you call it?
But Nika.
Straight
jacket. Straight jacket.
Like straight? Like
yes.
Yashan?
Yes.
Okay.
And he says that she has to go back to Lockmore, and he's going to write a book about it someday and make lots of money. Then he puts red shoes that he keeps in his desk on her feet.
Which is very creepy.
Chucky comes in, knocks him out again.
And then they said like a very funny quote. Did you quote it or not? He says like, I don't know if I should, because the way that the therapist is talking to her is really disturbing. It's like really creepy and in a really bad way. And then Chucky like punch him. How do you say that? It breaks the bottle on his head, and then he just says like, I don't know if I should kill him or should write notes. So these Chuckies are really cool. They had a lot of like funny quotes.
Yeah, and then the buried Chucky arrives with the one
all
arm.
His hair is like
one
like it came
arm,
out
dirty, pigpen amputee Chucky. And they see a short-haired Chucky on the table, on the desk. He says, well, wake him up. And so they do a little... This is the
Say
scene.
your line.
Give me the power,
No,
I beg of you.
Do like the real...
So I don't...
Yeah.
So that's when they kind of give the voodoo for dummies explanation that they can just create Charles Lee Ray in anything if they do a little bit of voodoo. It doesn't have to be a stormy night or whatever. Carlo the orderly arrives and he gets triple killed by these 3 different variations
Yeah, but
of Chucky's with
it was a
different
funny
weapons.
death because they stabbed him. They had a lot of ways to kill him, and they're killing him with like they
A
slice
drill,
but they
broken glass, and I
and
think a pencil, or maybe a
Pencil?
scalpel. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, like they cut some of his stomach. Everything came out, but he's still like screaming like he's very much alive. He screamed way longer like since he died. So it was like I was
I don't
confused,
think
but
it
it
was
was
an.
fun.
I don't think it was an instant death, but you know. Chucky enters Nika then, and she wakes up, breaks out of the straitjacket, and can walk. Because although her legs didn't work for her, they work for possessed Charles Lee Ray, which I guess makes sense because dolls' legs don't normally work. She's a human, so she kind of stamps around a little bit. Malcolm kills the nurse that found the arm sticking out, and so, but then he's himself again. So either Charles Lee Ray in him wore off, or he was never there at all, and it was just a manifestation of his mental illness. But we don't really get to talk with Malcolm for much longer after that, because one-armed Chucky drills him in the back of the head, out the eyeball.
Yeah, he says like I can still feel him in my head, and then
Yes.
through his eyeball there's like that.
Set up
How do you
and
call it?
then
Drill?
drilled the punchline. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then short-haired Chucky goes to visit Andy, and they fight. Andy reaches inside of him through guts, and he pulls out a gun, because that's how Andy was going to sneak a gun in. That's why he mails the Chucky doll to the doctor. His plan was to get in there. And that's the only way you can bring a gun past security, if you mail it. Although you're not really supposed to mail guns. I don't know. So, Andy stomps him to death inside there. And then Nika Chucky comes to visit Andy. He goes to shoot her, and she's like, if you shoot me, you're shooting Nika. He doesn't give a shit. He tries to do it anyway, but the gun locks up. So she slams the door and kind of laughs about it. Goes outside, meets Tiffany, Ms. Valentine, and she's talking like Chucky, kinda. They get a kiss. Ooh, that's different.
Yeah, I told you that movie is very gay friendly.
Yeah. So, although a gay man gets the most brutal death.
Oh yeah, he died, but the girls are rocking it.
Yeah.
It's a lesbian friendly.
It's not a lesbian. It's a gender neutral thing, because
because Chucky is
a
everything.
man in a woman's body. So yeah. So they kiss and
They make up, and then they make out, and then they're having sex.
they didn't
don't
have
watch
sex. They didn't have
They
sex.
had when they arrived home.
Okay, that is not part of the movie.
No, you can't see that.
They drive
You can
off
imagine it.
laughing with the Jennifer Tilly doll in the back laughing too. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, it was cool. I love Chucky.
Solid, a little bit, some weird little plot holes and some things that they just sort of messed up with. But it was a fun movie. Multiple Chuckies.
Yeah. Chucky is fun.
Make some good action
It was
figures.
always fun.
Yeah.
And will always stay fun.
I don't know if it was always fun. The first movie isn't really fun.
I don't remember which one I watched. I didn't
You
watch
only
all
watched
of them.
one of them. There's 7
No,
movies.
I'm saying I didn't watch only one of them. I watched few. I don't remember which one of them, but I didn't watch all the 7. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I watched the last 2. That's for sure. And I believe in the first one and then another one or something, but I don't remember. I was a big horror movie fan when I was a kid, so I watched a lot of.
Yeah, I think Child's Play was the first horror movie I saw, so I've always been a big fan of Chucky. I think they might have gone like a little too shtick heavy in some of the movies, but I guess that's part of the... He's a wisecracking doll, and there's always been little funny moments, but this was good. It was a good one. So, Cult of Chucky on Netflix if you want to watch it. Thanks for watching this.
Thank you. Peace and love. Subscribe, like,
Yeah.
share, comment.
Thumbs up. Let us know what you're watching. Let's compare lists.
Yeah.
If you want to see the whole list, I feel like some things still have to change.
Yeah.
We wrote down
We
this
still
list,
have
but
many more movies
I feel
to
like we need
change.
to cut out some. Maybe we should each pick at least one movie that the other person picked and replace it with something else. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
See what we do, and
Stick around. Check us tomorrow.
yeah. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.